Things are not always the way they seem. Oliver Cromwell had a large wart on his face. Now, lucky there was no television in 17th century England, or probably he would never have become the first non-royal ruler of England. And nowadays, for sure, he certainly would have needed that wart to be snipped off to even think about competing in the primaries. Nowadays, how you look is at least as important as who and what you are. In this week's Torah portion, the Torah says that the sole qualification for choosing a judge is his righteousness. As it says in the verse, righteousness, righteousness you shall pursue. Even if a judge doesn't have money and presence, qualities that are certainly definite advantages for a good judge, because if he has money, he'll be less susceptible to a bribe, and if he has an imposing presence, people will be more likely to listen to him. Well, even if he doesn't have those visible pluses, choose the most righteous person you can find. With this in mind, we can understand a seeming non sequitur. The Torah goes on to juxtapose this command to appoint righteous judges with three other seemingly unconnected commandments. The first is, you shall not plant for yourselves any tree near the altar of Hashem, and then you shall not erect for yourself a pillar, which Hashem your God hates. And finally, you shall not slaughter for Hashem your God an ox or a lamb or a kid in which there is a blemish. What do these three things have in common with the appointment of righteous judges? Using mere physical eyes, one would think that a beautiful tree growing near the altar would lend grace and majesty to the service of God. The Torah, with its spiritual eyes, tells us that a tree planted near the altar is revolting to God. Why? A tree symbolizes growth. There's a false idolatrous notion that God grows by man's service of him. Judaism says that the actions of man can neither add to or subtract from the infinite one. We see this idea expressed in the tablets of stone in which the Ten Commandments were engraved. Why were they engraved on stone? Why not wood? Stone is unchanging. It doesn't grow. What's despicable about a pillar? Drive along the main boulevard of any capital and you'll see any number of statues, soldiers on massive stone horses, forelegs raised, forever about to canter, frozen in a remembrance of things past. A pillar, a monument, always relates to things that were. A Jew relates to God not just as he who created everything in the past, but as the God who continues to create existence every nanosecond and with whom we have an ongoing relationship. The third thing that is repugnant to God is an offering with a blemish. Most of us believe there is a God. But when it comes to serving him wholeheartedly, with all our hearts and our souls, well, it's far less effort to think like the Greeks, that he made the world and, so to speak, went off to play golf, that God isn't interested in what we do. A blemish in an offering symbolizes that our service of God is lacking total commitment. It means we want a junior partnership with the boss. It's like saying, look, God, I know you rule the world and everything, but let me have a little space on my own over here to run my own show. A Jew serves God full time, 24/7. We never close.